I call this meeting to order. Could we all stand and pledge to sign allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thank you all for being present at this meeting tonight, the second monthly meeting for the year 2023. In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting have been provided as follows. On January 10th and January 19, 2023, notice was sent to the Hope News Tribune, the Star Ledger, Union County local source, and the clerk of the municipality. There should be no smoking permitted in this building at any time. In addition to the listed items in this agenda, this Board of Education may discuss and act upon other items not specifically referred to herein, as is allowed at a regularly scheduled monthly meeting under the Sunshine Law. Roll call, sir.
Ms. Carrillo.
Present.
Ms. Cintron. Mr. Dela Cruz.
Present.
Mrs. Fleming.
Present.
Ms. Pino.
Present.
Ms. Rosado Quesada. Ms. Thomas.
Present.
Ms. Armstead.
Present.
And Dr. Berghammer.
Present. Our next agenda item is to approve, motion to approve the meeting for January 26, 2023.
Motion to approve the meeting for January?
26th and 24th.
Yes, 24th and 26th.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Carrillo.
Yes.
Mr. Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Mrs. Fleming.
Yes.
Ms. Pino.
Yes.
Ms. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Armstead.
Yes.
And Dr. Berghammer.
Yes. Now, this is always a very important time, hearing what the public has to say. So we are now going to open the floor for comments from the public. For agenda items only, remember that all public must speak for no more than 3 minutes on agenda items only. Do we still have the sign-in sheet?
Yes.
Yes, so please sign your name.
Good evening. My name is Joanne Padavano, 629 Princeton Road. I'm going to refer to page 51 as far as the spring sport coaches. I'm just curious, why is baseball allowed to have a head coach and 3 assistant coaches, but for some reason the girls softball team, who, if I will remind everyone, came in first in the district last year, is only allowed 1 head coach and 2 assistant coaches? Can anyone answer that question? Why aren't we given that opportunity to have 3 assistant coaches? Anybody know that answer?
I'll have to get back to her.
Okay, so that's a very good question. I am sure the superintendent will get back to you with a suitable answer.
Okay, and I have another question on that page 51. There is a brand new head coach being named for softball. And again, maybe the superintendent can help me on this. How does someone brand new get in already at a pay step of 3 when I know he has never coached softball in Linden? So how does that happen? Isn't there a tiered approach to that, where if he's coming in brand new, I would think he would need to work his way up to be the top pay salary for a head coach? That's my other question. So if you could check that out and let me know, Dr. Tomasic, I'd appreciate it.
All right. Very
Thank
good
you.
questions. Dr. Tomasic will reach out to you with suitable answers. Thank you
Thank you.
very much for your comment.
Allison Padavano, 629 Princeton Road, Linden, New Jersey. I'm also a senior at the high school, and I play for the softball team, varsity softball team. What's the page that I'm talking about? Page 51. Page 51. 4 years ago, I would not be sitting here writing this essay. I probably wouldn't have even been in school because I had counseling sessions and I was getting pulled out of my classes early every day. Freshman year was definitely a rough one for me. Coming into a huge school, only knowing a few people was really difficult. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to stand out in a positive way, except that isn't exactly what happened. I fell in with the wrong crowd and was often in trouble. School was almost like a burden for me until I met the new gym teacher. Sophomore year, after we came back from COVID on hybrid instruction, we had a whole lot of new teachers. Specifically, there was a new gym teacher. I heard that she was coming to volunteer coach for softball, which was exciting for me since I play for the school. Since we had that in common, it was automatically a conversation starter. Softball teaches you a lot of life lessons, so our conversations would get deep, and she got to know me more than any of my friends or other teachers. She related to me, which made it easier for me to talk to her. I felt comfortable talking to her about situations I wouldn't usually talk about because she always knew how to take a negative situation and find the positive. Building a relationship with her didn't just give me something to look forward to in school, but we also brought back Orange Army. Orange Army, if you didn't know, is our student section for sporting events. Since the big sport at Linden is basketball, we would attend all the basketball games, home and away, which gave me and many other students something to do rather than going out and possibly not doing the right thing. I was set on the fact that I did not want to go to college until I noticed how much fun she had being a physical education teacher and how dedicated she was to coaching the girls she just met. Not only do you get to teach sports all day, but you get to be a positive influence in students' lives who might not have that when they go home, which is exactly what she does. I feel like that is one of the most important qualities a teacher or a coach should have. A teacher or a coach should be their students' safe place. Students shouldn't be scared to talk to them or be themselves around them. Not only does it help the students emotionally, but it also makes it easier for them to engage in their class or perform better on the field. She not only inspired me to pursue a career in education, but she inspired me to be a better student athlete. She taught me how to handle my emotions better, and with that, I learned how to motivate myself when I felt the most alone or confused. She helped me find more things that interest me and encouraged me to get out of my comfort zone. She showed me what qualities I should look for in future friendships and in relationships. She helped me become a better person, and I am forever going to be grateful for that. What I just read to all of you was an edited version of my college essay. Most people write about a situation they have been through or a lesson they have learned, but I chose to write about a person who has forever changed my life. Not only has she impacted my life, but I'm pretty sure if you visited the high school and spoke to a few students and brought up this teacher's name, they would tell you how inspirational and motivating she is in their lives as well. And I'm sure you wouldn't hear anything negative about her. On the other hand, if you talk to any girl she coached on the Linden High School softball team voluntarily the past 2 years, they will tell you how much joy and positivity she brings to the team. Whether that be practices or at games, whether we win or lose, she will always say, "Take what we are telling you and use that to make yourselves better for the next time." With that being said, I will be attending UCC in the fall. I never would have seen myself standing here saying that to all of you, but that is because of this specific coach. Don't be fooled, though. She will definitely correct you when you are wrong, but she will take the time and help you fix it. In the beginning of the school year, my softball team and I learned that our head coach was resigning. It was a shock to all of us. All we kept asking was who was going to replace her. Recently, we found out about a new possible coaching staff, and we are optimistic. I was told that multiple people applied for the job, some of which kept their original positions, and some of which didn't receive a paid position. I think I could speak for all of the girls when I say that it isn't fair. No hate to football and baseball, but baseball has 4 coaches now, and football has at least 5 coaches, and I understand there are more boys who play football, and football games are more popular to go to, but personally, I think all sports are equally important. On top of that, Linden's softball team won our division last year, and that wasn't just because of the girls playing, but that was because of the coaching staff we had behind us as well. As a volunteer, you wouldn't expect someone to dedicate every day, Monday to Saturday, helping, but that is exactly what this person does. I know she wants to see all her athletes and students do great because she takes the time out of her day, every day in the spring, to come to every practice and every game. I personally think you should consider giving her an official assistant coaching position, not just because of the bond I have built with her, but because of the time that she takes and all of the positive energy she brings to our team day in and day out. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Donna Hernandez, 133 Princeton Road, referencing again page 51. Reading this from my daughter. She was unable to make it tonight. Good evening. My name's Erica Hernandez, and I'm currently a junior at Linden High School. Sorry I'm unable to make the meeting. The spring sports season is approaching very quickly, and I knew that a new softball coach would have to be chosen. Thinking about our season last year and capturing the title of Sky Division, and this season we're looking forward to capturing the title yet again and hopefully moving up to a higher division next year. Myself and others on the team would have thought that our assistant coach would have been moved up to head coach and our volunteer coach to assistant. Why is the teacher who has prior knowledge of our team, the sport as a whole, and their team spent as our previous assistant coach not given the chance as the head coach? Why is the position given to someone who is new to our school and doesn't know our team? For any athlete to have a brand new head coach to come in and take over, it's a struggle. Many girls wanted to come up here and talk, but they didn't know if there would be any repercussions against them. I'm a proud student athlete, and I know that my voice matters. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Craig Heller. I live at 120 Donaldson Place. I'm just questioning in the education report on page 16, number 11, workshops for code of conduct to ensure equity, and number 39, workshop code of conduct to address specialized populations. And then on page 18, under number 13, restorative justice at Linden High School. You know, maybe I'm old-fashioned or something, but I sure don't know what restorative justice is. I'd love to find out, but I don't necessarily need an answer today because I have a meeting with the superintendent scheduled for tomorrow. So I can take that up with him tomorrow morning at our meeting. Thank you very much.
Madam President, I'll answer the restorative justice. That's a restorative justice refers to any of a wide philosophy of both in the criminal justice system and in school discipline, where the way to handle an offender so that they don't reoffend is to make them understand the consequences of their behavior with their victim or the person who had the consequence of their misbehavior. So restorative justice, in the sense that we use the term here in Linden, is to teach staff and those dealing with counseling individuals who have violated the code of conduct, is to try to make sure that they don't reoffend in the same area by making them identify and understand the consequences of their behaviors to those who suffered from it.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else who have something to share at this moment? Do we have anyone online?
No.
No.
Okay, so now that we don't have anyone online, we are going to move to our next agenda item, which is our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. First off, I'd like to, I have at the table and I laid on the various tables a walk-on item, would be personnel number 45. This was item that came in very late today after we had put the agenda online. It's a hiring of a part-time aide, and we didn't want to wait another month to handle this so that they could get in the classroom. I think everyone knows that we've had some tragedy in our district over the last 2 weeks with the death of 3 students. I know that we will speak in more detail later on during comments. I do want to point out that, as is our tradition, when a student passes away, we put forward a resolution supported by the board to the family of those who have passed away, and you'll see those on the agenda this evening going forward. Many times we tell the public that we're activating our crisis response plan. We thought it might be informative for the public that if we wouldn't dwell a little bit so that you could understand better what we do when we activate the crisis plan here in the district. What does that mean? What do we do in the schools? And since Ms. Perkins was on scene at School 4 following that death and was on scene at McManus following the death of the 2 students, she can give a firsthand recount of what was going on in the school and how the students and staff were processing this horrendous event. So at this point, before I continue, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Perkins to give the board and the public a summary of these events. Ms. Perkins.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to first start off by saying that, yes, this has been a very tragic time for the Linden community. And to be into the schools and see the resilience of the staff and the students, I want to commend all of the employees here in the Linden Public Schools District. Our supervisor of student services, Ms. Annabelle Lewis, puts together this crisis plan, and it starts with communicating with all stakeholders to ensure that the school is safe. Police is activated to be around the school to show their support. We also have counselors throughout the district as well as social workers who are on site at the school. The staff is provided with online support to contact NJEA or our insurance to help them with dealing with tragedy. So on the day where students arrive, the first thing is we wanted to make sure that the students are in a safe place, that they feel safe. And we are then able to begin validating their feelings. So within the classrooms, there are social workers and also members from outside agencies who come in and help with traumatic loss. Teachers are provided that support to help out with meeting the needs of the students. On the elementary level, in the classrooms where we lost the student, we had those members there to help the students process and understand. They were able to share their feelings through communication, written, verbally. They made cards, memory books. We also allowed them to just take a moment and ask whatever questions they may have. The teachers were provided with a script of what to say and what not to say to help them with ensuring that we're helping the students. Also, we have a therapy dog that came out to the elementary school to help the students with, again, just knowing that we're there to support them. Staff members were able to go into breakout rooms for support as well. On the secondary level, I witnessed students coming together, hallways, in classrooms. The students' lockers were decorated as a memorial. Students sat around the lockers, they hugged, they cried, they laughed. The support staff was there in every classroom. On the secondary level, there was also a breakout room for the students to go into, and they had that therapeutic support there, more social and emotional learning. They were making cards, they were making bracelets, and they were just talking. They were allowed to, they put up posters, they put up banners. It was active. It was active with support from all members of the district and every school. Again, the resilience was, it was not only seen, but it was felt. And it continues, not only when the students first arrive back to school, throughout the week. And we're going to continue to be there to support them. And so that's what it looks like in the classrooms. Oh, and also at the middle school, there's a memorial outside as well. The goal is, as always, is to let everybody know that we care, and we're going to get through this together. While our hearts are trying to mend the loss, it's with the love and care and support and understanding that we're able to arrive each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. We have also, the board has also been actively involved in what's going on in our schools and behind the scene. And I would like two of our board members to share their experience after the death of our students. So, Ms. Armstead, would you first share your experience visiting the schools?
Yes. So I had the pleasure of visiting school number 4 and also visiting McManus with my colleague Saskia, and just being very transparent, it was rough for me, and I'm an adult, so I can only imagine how the children feel. At the elementary level, I was able to visit and see them participating in activities where they were sharing their memories, and at that age, although I do think that they were able to understand to a certain extent what was happening, I don't think that they were fully processing what occurred, but at the middle school level, there was full comprehension of what was going on. So that was, again, rough for me to have to visualize, just to see how hurt our children in our community are. But what really did resonate with me was the impact that our staff and Ms. Perkins has with these children, and the amount of love and support that they were receiving, and the ability for them to cope at such a young age together just really speaks volumes on the work that's being done at our school system. I also had the opportunity to, I witnessed firsthand just seeing how deeply Ms. Perkins has touched these children. I was in the hallway and a student just ran up to her and burst out into tears and just hugged her. And you can just tell that she has a very strong and deep relationship with these students, as does our faculty and staff. So I would like to just thank you guys for being able to do this, because I can only imagine how difficult it is to have to be in that position, because again, I was only there for one day and it was difficult for me, having to go back into my job and to focus and to try to get things done. So I can only imagine what you guys are dealing with, but I am extremely thankful that we have you guys to be there for not only our students, but to be there for each other. And I just wanted to thank you guys for the work that you guys are doing, because it's truly amazing.
Thank you very much, Ms. Armstead. Thank you, Ms. Sassia. Could you now share?
Yes, I too, I didn't visit school 4, but I did visit McManus Middle School with Miss Atia Perkins and Brianna Armstead. It was my first time there. I attended Seoul Middle School, so it was my first time at McManus, and it was very unfortunate that it was under those circumstances. But our reason for being there was to show support and to be able to show that we're not just here for the good times, but also for the tough ones. It is just my 2nd month on the board, but I'm able to see the things that do make an impact, and to see what was being done by the guidance counselors and all individuals involved to be able to help in the grieving process was very nice to see, just for the children, because they are children, it's middle school, but they're kids, and to be able to process this grieving, and I'm going to say journey because it's going to take a long time for some, and just for their feelings to be said that it's okay to feel what you need to feel. I thought that was extremely important. But to all the staff, teachers, and everyone involved, we truly thank you, because without you guys, I don't know how this would have went about. It's such a tragic incident, and yeah, we thank you.
Thank you. One of our board members always say from the first day she sat on her board, every day, every month, she always say, it's all about our children. Miss Pino always says that. And today, just listening to this, it is so sad and emotional. Thank you, Dr. Tomasic. You could continue.
Thank you, Madam President. I would be remiss if I didn't also thank the Linden Police Department, who both in the school 4 situation and McManus were around the building, making sure that our students were protected. They gave reassurance, and they've been with us every step of the way. And we thank Chief Hart for all of the support that he's given us, and I'm sure will give us in the future. As we tell our students, life goes on, and so it did in the district. Today we had the county office team in district doing our CUSAC inspection. This comes every 3 years, where they validate all of our processes. They were in today. They did kindly offer to delay the inspection, but we thought it best to go forward, and because we were ready, and it wasn't going to get any easier just because it was a couple of weeks later. So we completed that today. Sometime in the future, they'll compile their results and let us know the results of that inspection. Next Tuesday is an important day. That is when the governor will give his budget address. 2 days after, or within the 2 days after that speech, we here in the district receive a notification as to how much state aid will be allotted for the 2023-24 school year. A very important speech, but not quite as important as the numbers that actually show up after the speech. So we have to call a special board meeting, which is on the agenda this evening for March 14th, so that we can prepare and pass our interim budget. That then goes to the county superintendent, who reviews it for sufficiency, and then later on the final version is voted on in April, and then that becomes our budget for next year. We were also pleased that we were able to open up a new pre-K class in the district. We had a room. We received extra money from the Department of Education because we're committed now for the preschool expansion aid project. So we were able to clear out our waiting list and make sure that those students were brought into classes this school year. Our students have been working on various achievements, which I believe are noteworthy. At the Group 4 track and field meet, Robbie Smith won the high jump, clearing 6'6", tying a school record. At the NJSIAA North wrestling match, Layla Soto wrestling at 138 pounds, won her the match for the meet, and she is now a state qualifier. Hag El-Rashahi was very notably appointed by the mayor of the city to sit on the zoning board, the youngest person in the state of New Jersey ever to be given that honor. She's a 12th grader at Linden High School, and she's already got a head start on her public career. On page 26, you will see the proposed district calendar for next year. I just wanted to point out one thing in the calendar on the recovery of snow days. In the district calendar, we have 3 snow days baked into the calendar so that if we had 3 snow days, we would still end the school year as listed. But we always put down what we would do if we didn't use the snow days and how they would be recovered, because we always have 180 days of school regardless. I just wanted to point out that possibly as we get into next year, maybe towards the middle of the year, we have to assess whether or not there's been any snow. The key issue is at some point during the year, the Mayor's Youth Commission, who supports the bash, has to sign a legal contract with the facility that the bash is going to be held at. And because of that, the graduation day has to be then on that day. So in this particular draft, we have that if we don't use the snow days, that we would just recover the days off the end of the school year. However, if we got into the area of February, as now, where that signature has already been done, we won't be able to move the end of the school year. So I just want to bring this out so that you're not surprised if, obviously, if we use a snow day in next December and then we use another one in January, this isn't going to be a problem. But if, like this year, we haven't had any snow, if that happens again next year, and we have 3 days, then we may have to do something different than's on this calendar, just so that we don't mess up the graduation day alignment with the bash when they actually get to the point of making that decision. On this evening's agenda, we have one retirement, Josephina Gill. Josephina has worked in the Linden School District for 29 years. She started her career in 1994 as an English as a second language teacher. And Josephina taught ESL at schools number 6, 8, and 9. And currently, she's ending her career as a kindergarten teacher at school number 8, where she'll remain until her retirement. We thank Josephina for her passion and dedication to the students and families of Linden. The Linden Board of Education wish you all the best and wish that you enjoy your retirement. Lastly, I'd like to just make some comments about school leadership. As you know, the Board of Education is actively engaged in finding a permanent replacement to lead the district. And I just wanted to make 2 observations: that any leadership position in education, really anywhere in the country, basically involves education, facilities, and finances. And each of these 3 areas are split into their own additional 3 sub-areas, but I think it's useful to remind ourselves of what they are. In education, there's the 3 Ps. There's the programs, the things that we offer the students. There's the personnel, that is the teachers and the staff to deliver those programs. And then there's the parents in the community who are essentially the boss of the school district and set the standards and expectations for the school district on how to serve the children. Besides education, any school leader has to deal with facilities. First off is the systems, making sure that there's enough heat in the winter and the electric works and there's no mold in the building, and a host of other things to make sure that the buildings are ready. Secondly, the superintendent has to worry about the cleanliness of the facilities so that students are learning in a proper, clean, safe environment. And lastly, with facilities is a question of sufficiency. Do we have enough physical class space to serve all the students that are in the district? Then lastly, our finances. 2 areas of revenue that are very, very important, especially here in New Jersey, is the amount of state aid that the district receives and the revenue that comes from the local tax levy. The School Funding Reform Act of 2008 specifies how that revenue is obtained, and they split it based on the wealth, the property wealth of the town, and the income wealth of the town, decides how much money, how much revenue comes from the state, and how much revenue comes from the local tax levy. And then lastly, in finances are the expenditures. The state gives us guidance on how much money it takes to properly educate the students per the constitutionally mandated thorough and efficient education. And so these revenues and expenditures are balanced out, and they are what we're talking about when we set up the initial budget recommendation. So any leader, either here in Linden, anywhere in the state, or anywhere around the country, has to deal with education, facilities, and finances and those sub-areas, and that should be characteristics that a new leader can handle. I think there's some unique things that are going on now because of our times, in our post-pandemic times. It seems sometimes in an organization like a school district, which is, after all, a service-based organization with direct interface with the public, it seems sometimes that we've somehow lost our ability in civil society to communicate, and that there's challenges to authority, and that many times on issues we polarize, and then when we can't understand each other, we just amplify our voices rather than trying to find common ground. We find in this post-pandemic situation that many of our students are frustrated and have hair triggers to lash out when something doesn't go their way. And we in the school district, we exist in this larger society, and those impacts impact us as much as they do other aspects. So I just give my advice that when deciding who to lead the district, that you make sure that the fundamentals, the education, the facilities, the finances are well in hand, and somebody equal to the times in which we live, which have been so straining to all of us in this post-pandemic world. I do like to remind that if the board approves the March 14th special meeting, that will be the meeting that we discuss and vote upon the initial board agenda, and later on at the end, during remarks, we'll have more to say about our students who have so tragically passed away. Madam President, that completes my remarks.
Thank you, sir. Our next agenda item is the attorney review.
I believe that we have the three resolutions that we would want to offer and vote on.
Okay. Where are they?
They're right next on the. So you just look for a recommendation to accept those three resolutions.
I would like to make a recommendation to accept the three resolutions for students who have just passed.
Motion to accept the resolutions, the three.
Second. Roll call.
Ms. Carrillo,
Yes.
Mr. Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Mrs. Fleming,
Yes.
Ms. Pino,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Armstead,
Yes.
and Dr. Berghammer.
Yes.
Attorney's report.
Our next agenda item is our attorney report.
Thank you, Madam President. There are two items that I will ask for a motion and a second on. The first is approving the settlement of a grievance with the Linden Education Association regarding lateral movement on their salary guide. This was discussed multiple times, including at the work session on Tuesday. The second item, which I'll ask for a motion and second on, was also discussed at the work session, and that will authorize us to remove certain markings from the basketball court at the high school for a number of reasons, most notably to be in compliance with your own board policy as to naming and dedicating school property and facilities. So can I have a motion and a second on those two items?
A motion to approve 1 and 2 on the attorney report.
Second.
Before we vote, do we have any discussion on either one of these agenda items? No discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Carrillo,
Yes.
Mr. Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Mrs. Fleming,
Yes.
Ms. Pino,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Armstead,
Yes.
and Dr. Berghammer.
Yes. Our next agenda item is our education report.
Education Committee for recommendation for interim superintendent of schools and the assistant superintendent presents the following motion to Linden Board of Education. I approve 1 through 46. Do I get a second?
Second.
Any discussions before we move to roll call? No discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Carrillo,
Yes.
Mr. Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Mrs. Fleming,
Yes.
Ms. Pino,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Armstead,
Yes.
and Dr. Berghammer.
Yes. Our next agenda item, personnel.
The chair's not here. The chair's in here.
Yeah, you want to do it?
The Personnel Committee, upon the recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools, presents the following motions to the Linden Board of Education for approval. All appointments and reappointments are contingent upon and may be modified based on student participation and the district's receipt of sufficient state school aid and other revenue fundings. I'm asking for a motion to approve items 1 through 45. I respectfully ask for a second.
Second.
Any discussion before we move to roll? No discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Carrillo,
Yes.
Mr. Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Mrs. Fleming,
Yes.
Ms. Pino,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Armstead,
I would like to recuse myself on item 6 and item 4, row 6. Yes to all other agenda items.
and Dr. Berghammer.
Yes. Finance. Next agenda item, the finance report.
The Finance Committee, upon recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools and the business administrator, board secretary, present the following motions to the Linden Board of Education for approval. Motion to approve items 1 through 30. Respectfully ask for a second.
Second.
No discussions? Any discussions? Roll call?
Ms. Carrillo,
Yes.
Mr. Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Mrs. Fleming,
Yes.
Ms. Pino,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Armstead,
Yes.
and Dr. Berghammer.
Yes. Buildings and grounds?
The Buildings, Grounds, and Security Committee, upon recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools and the business administrative board secretary, present the following motions to the Linden Board of Education for approval. Number 1 through 7, I respectfully ask for a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
1 through 8.
1 through 8?
1 through 8?
1 through 8. Yes.
Okay, 1 through 8, stand corrected. Wow, okay. 1 through 8.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Carrillo,
Yes.
Mr. Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Mrs. Fleming,
Yes.
Ms. Pino,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Armstead,
I would like to recuse myself from item 6. Yes to all other agenda items.
and Dr. Berghammer.
Yes. Now we go to comments from the public. Members of the public desiring to make a public comment may come forward at any time. For those watching online, if you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please utilize your raise hand feature on the online meeting platform. Please begin your comments by stating your name and address. Individuals are invited to speak on one topic at a time and no individual will speak more than once until all individuals so desiring have spoken once. The public is reminded that to ensure the efficient and orderly operations of the meeting, members of the public will be limited to speaking on items for 3 minutes. Do we have any members of the public?
Hi, Donna Hernandez, 133 Princeton Road. I have to say I'm a little disappointed with what was being said tonight. My email that was sent, I can see it was not taken into consideration. I can now understand why all our staff and teachers who left because of their hard work and dedication have been overseen and were never given the opportunity to show how they could have been good for the position. I have to say good for them and any future teachers and staff that leave because they deserve better. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, everybody. Rob Mangel, 18 Trinity Place, Montclair, New Jersey. Linden High School Social Studies teacher, LEA president. I stand before you tonight as the proud president of the Linden Education Association. I have the pleasure of representing all the folks that help guide our students and our community through these past few weeks. I need to tell you, though, a lot of our staff are struggling. We show up, we work hard, but we're struggling. We carry the hopes and dreams and stresses, and especially the past few weeks, the stresses of our students. We educate and inspire, but over the past few weeks and months, staff have come to me concerned about the safety of our students and our staff. This Board of Education has made security and safety a priority, and we thank you for that. But I would urge everyone sitting at the tables in front of me to remember to talk to the folks in the building when making and discussing safety plans. The people I represent are the experts on their buildings. Please use them as a resource. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Tomasic and everyone in our Linden School District for the wonderful job they have done to show our children comfort during these troubled times. I was very, very close to one of the students who passed away. And I have to say, this has been very difficult, and it still is. And you were right, Ms. Carrillo. It's a journey, and it's going to take time to heal. And I want to thank all the board members also who took the time to visit our schools, to show that they care, and all of you do. And for some of you, it's your first time, and you had to endure a lot. And I want to thank you for your compassion. We have a wonderful school district. We have a lot of great teachers. We have a lot of wonderful students. I am a proud parent. I love Linden, and I love our school district. Our school district is in good hands, and I'm very proud of these boards, the board members. Thank you for your dedication. It's not easy. You go to work, and you volunteer your time to service. And it's not an easy job, and I want you all to know that we do appreciate all of you. And we appreciate our teachers. They care, they treat our children like it's their own child, you know. And I want to thank all of them for being there for everyone. But on another note, I would like to take this time to thank everyone who participated in the Mayor's Youth Commission Dine to Donate campaign to raise funds for the Linden High School class of 2023. I have to say that Linden is a beautiful community of caring people. So many of you showed up every Monday in January to support our youth. It was a major success. And I want to thank the Linden community. I want to thank the teachers and the administrators who came out to support our young people. In May, I will come back, but in May 6th and May 7th is the rain date. I will be hosting a community day for our Linden families. And the money that we raise will go for the Mayor's Youth Commission project graduation. I will have more information at the next meeting. Thank you, everyone. I forgot to say my name. Danny Orlean, 516 Carnegie Street.
Good evening again. Joanne Padavano, 629 Princeton Road. I was just wondering if the board members were aware that right now we have no baseball or softball fields. They are in a state of construction. So I have heard that unfortunately, all of our baseball games and softball games will most likely be away. As you know, I come up here most of last year asking board members to support our baseball and softball teams and come to a home game. You know, it's the same parents that are always there, you know, and I know I sarcastically say there's more to Linden than football and basketball. To support our kids, like my daughter has said, 6 days a week, the boys and the girls practice to do good. And it's very disappointing, especially since we have had such a mild winter, that this construction and repair work could have been going on. And I don't understand why we waited so long when we have softball starting and baseball, I believe, within 2 weeks, and games starting shortly, and we don't even have fields for our kids to play on. As usual, softball and baseball are the stepchildren. And again, it's disappointing that, you know, I have my daughter's teachers saying, we want to come see a game. And I had to say to them, well, they're all going to be away. Luckily, I said, oh, Rahway, you can go to a game in Rahway, that's close. But you know, it's sad that we can't even have fields for these kids to play on. Shame on us for taking so long when I guess we could have started the, you know, end of PAL over the summer when those games ended. We probably could have started in the fall or whatever to get these fields ready for these children. Shame on us.
Can I comment on that? Yes. Yes, I'd just like to say for the record that the softball field and the baseball field are not our property, and we don't run the construction of that. That's related to the city property. It is an unfortunate situation that the work is as delayed as it is, but I didn't want to leave the impression that those were district-owned properties that we had not been ready for.
Allison Padovano, 629 Princeton Road. So if we don't have softball and baseball fields like the fields that we usually play on, we usually practice at Tiger Stadium, and now we can't do that. So where are we going to practice? Where are we going to hold our senior night? Where are we going to practice? Because personally, I'm a senior, so for me, this year is kind of important to me. I didn't have a freshman season because of COVID, which was nobody's fault, but I didn't have a freshman season. So coming off of a winning season as a senior, I kind of wanted to have a good senior year, good senior season, a big senior night, and we don't even have a field to do it at or a place in Linden to practice. So,
yes,
where we
obviously,
practice.
we will be talking with the staff. Obviously, we've been talking with the people who are in charge of the fields, catching their progress, and certainly we'll have places to practice, but I can't tell you right tonight exactly where that's going to be, but this has been a problem that we've been processing and looking at options, and certainly we will have a place to practice if the fields are not ready.
Anthony Mislin, 444 Inwood Road. The two previous speakers were actually questioning on the Buildings, Grounds, and Securities Report, number 5, about the use of the facilities at no charge by LISA. This is not a Board of Education sponsored program. Tiger Stadium is used for baseball and for softball every year, usually because in March, the beginning month of March, when these two sports start, usually snow on the ground, it's too cold outside to be on those fields in Tremley. Tiger Stadium is now being used the entire month of March, half of April, May, June. How do they take precedent over our sports? Is that something that was not even brought up? Has anybody looked at those fields? I mean, I run baseball at PAL, so I know what's going on down there. That was supposed to start last year, and it did not. Why it took so long, I understand it has to do with the city. But when LISA is taking over that field, when they have a field already at Wheeler that we can't do anything with, which was a softball field when they first built it. The girls softball team could not play there, the boys softball could not play there. It was a turf field. There was times when the fields at PAL were unplayable and we couldn't get on those fields because LISA has permits for that field. I understand it's a county park. However, now they're taking over Tiger Stadium. Seems a little ridiculous.
They applied for Tiger Stadium, but as is always the caveat with all of the people that use our facilities, that if our needs present themselves, that we may take over that field for our own programs. So the assumption that they're going to have the field and somebody else won't if we need the field is incorrect. We always have priority over all of our facilities if we sometime have a need for it that we didn't anticipate in the first place.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
Craig Haller, 120 Donaldson Place. I would like to propose an idea that, I've talked to different people, about PTA meetings and all. Why can't we have different people on the board be assigned to the different PTA associations at the different schools to help them all work to get the best results for our kids, our students in this school system? Thank you.
Anyone else have anything to say? Do we have anyone online with your hands raised?
Nope.
Okay, so that concludes the comments from the public. So now we're going to hear from...
We'll bring it up.
No, just the board members first. Okay. Now we're going to have comments from our board members. Ms. Pino?
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see everyone here this evening. Thank you for your comments and your concerns. We appreciate everything that you're saying. I want to congratulate Ms. Sotos and Mr. Smith for the championship that they did, the young lady with the wrestling and the young man with the high jump. And Ms. Sophia, congratulations on your retirement. This is really hard today, and I'm trying my best to get through it. But Dr. Tomas, thank you for sending us our emails and checking on us. We appreciate it. And Ms. Perkins, thank you for the counselors that's going to the school to help the children, because they need it as well as the adults need it, and we need it. I sure need it, because going through this is really hard. Losing people that you care about is hard. And trying not to deal with it is hard. And for us to argue and fight, tomorrow's another day, yes, but it's not promised to us. We have to stop and think. Don't love me today, love me always. Let's just make it. I care about everyone and everything, but right now, this is so hard. We have to talk about our feelings. If it's hard for us, it's hard for the babies. I call them babies because they're going to always be babies. Even when they grow up, they're still going to be our babies. We just have to take care of them, take care of each other. We're going to make mistakes, yes, but we're big enough to fix those mistakes. But right now, sorry for the tears, but this hurts a lot. For us to talk about everything, it hurts. That's it for me.
Tom?
This is hard. I've been thinking about what I'm going to say today. And it's been, what now, 2 weeks. This is the second week going. But first and foremost, I want to start by congratulating Ms. Gill for your service. And like I tell everybody that's retiring, enjoy your retirement and have a pina colada on us. Don't think too much about us. I know you're going to miss your coworkers. Oops. And what I've been thinking about what I'm going to say hit close to home. I've known Carlos for the past 23 years. We've worked together. And to lose a child, we spoke about this, I think, last year when some tragedy was going on throughout the United States. We've seen tragedy throughout the United States in certain schools that we've been trying to raise the awareness on safety. And it actually, this year, actually has struck us now 4 times, and 3 times within the last 2 weeks. I can't fathom what Dayanara or Carlos are going through. I could only imagine. I feel their pain. I feel everybody's pain. All I ask for us, for everybody, you have somebody at home that you love very much, go home, hug them. Your children, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, whoever you have. Because right now, 5 minutes changes a lifetime. And we have 2 people that were close to us here, that their lifetime has changed. We have students that their lifetime has changed. We have teachers that their life has changed also, going into those classrooms, seeing that empty desk where the children were sitting. I know they may need extra help. And whatever the district has that we could give them, let's give it to them, because they all need it. Geesh, we're all here and we need it. We're human. And if you don't feel the hurt that we're going through our in our district, then you're not human. Then you're cold. You must not have no feeling in your body. I've tried to reach out to my coworker, my friend, Carlos, and I haven't been able to reach out to him. We know it's going to get easier, but there's a void in his life that he will never have again. Hearing his son's voice. Being able to hug that boy once again, it's got to be one of the hardest things in life. That a parent should not bury a child. The child should bury the parent. And unfortunately, this is the reality that we're being faced at this time. And it's happening throughout the United States. And hopefully it gets easier for us, and time will heal, and we will have those memories. But just remember, the next 5 minutes is never guaranteed. So be able to thank your people, love your people, hug your people, kiss your people, laugh with your people, and cherish every moment that you have with them. Because the next 5 minutes is not guaranteed. And to close, I would just like to have a moment of silence for the 4 students that we've lost this year so far. Thank you.
Good evening to all. I have written down what I would like to say because I knew that I wouldn't be able to get my thoughts through with the feelings that I feel with everything that has happened, unfortunately. So I would like to start off by saying that these past tragedies that have happened within our city has been extremely heart-wrenching. My condolences go out to all the families involved. A board member lost her child. She's not just a board member to me, but a previous coworker and someone who I called my work mom. Sorry. If you're listening or watching, please know that I'm here for you. We're all here for you. The bond we have has made me aware of the love that you had and continue to have for your son, which is why this news shattered my heart. To Carlos, as a friend and someone who has believed in me, I would like to say that I too believe in you. I believe that you will stay strong. I believe that you will forever honor your son. And I believe strongly that you will continue to feel the pouring love from our community. I'm here for you, for your family, today, tomorrow, and always. To the 2 students that we lost this past week as well, I'm so very sorry for your loss to that family. Nobody should feel the amount of pain that you are feeling. As a board, we are here for you. As I mentioned before, I did visit McManus Middle School, and seeing the pain that the children and staff are experiencing and are continuing to feel was heartbreaking. To those individuals, the students, staff, and parents, we're also here for you. That's what we are here for. And again, my condolences to both families.
Jennifer.
Sorry. I also had to write something down because I knew that at the time of for us to give our remarks. I wouldn't be able to had I not written it down. But I think, like everyone here, I have been grieving, and I think that if I'm grieving, I can only imagine what the families are going through. Carlos and Diana are close family friends, and the loss of Ariel was particularly rough because I had saw him the day before, and he was healthy. And he was smiling at his sister's play. And when I finally came to terms with the situation, which I'm sure as a parent you never do, Linden was hit with another tragedy of Natalia and Sebastian and their mother, Justina. At such a young age, I just remember middle school when I was visiting McManus, it seemed like it was not that long ago. And I feel like at middle school, I didn't really understand much about the world. I was still coming to terms with who I was and, making friends and worrying about what I wore and how I looked. And to have to deal with such a loss and to have to process such grief at that age is really gut-wrenching. I honestly don't have the right words to say because this has truly been a nightmare. The only thing that I do know is that we are a family. Linden is very strong together. And I hope that we can come together not only for each other, but for these families because they need it more than anything else right now. I know that if this is a nightmare for me today, this will be a nightmare for them for the rest of their lives. I hope that we all can learn to just be a little bit kinder to one another, learn how to speak to each other with grace, and to give each other patience because we are all hurting right now. We are all suffering, and the world can use a little bit of kindness because this has been a tremendous and extremely hard situation for us all to have to endure. Thank you for your time.
I too would like to give my condolences to the families, the parents, our community. I thought about I'm sorry.
Alicia. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for attending tonight's meeting. This is a very, very, very hard time in our lives. 3 of our students within 2 weeks. It's unfathomable. I just want to reiterate what Ms. Armstead said about us being a little more kinder to one another. It really goes a long way. I'd like to thank the Linden District, the community, and everyone in the surrounding communities who have come together to support us, to support the families. This is a very, very hard time, and we all could use a little positivity, light, love, and kindness. Every year, for the past 2 years since I've been on the board, I've been tasked with putting together a presentation for Black History Month. I know it's business as usual and life goes on, but I wasn't able to put that together this year, reach out to the community and get anything up to present today because it's been hard. It's been very hard as a board member, as a mother, as a friend. I could only imagine what these families are going through. I say this to say, I thank all of the schools for participating in your Black History Month activities and just presenting the culture to your students. And if you haven't, I ask that you take the time to learn your Black students, understand the culture and ways of life, and different things that we go through on a day-to-day. I find a lot of the Black history presentations go into things prior to the year 2000, but we all make history every day, just coming into the school district, just coming to school, striving to be the best versions of ourselves, trying to surpass the glass ceiling that we speak of. It's hard enough just being, sorry, excuse me, I'm gonna end my comment here, but I thank you all for being here this evening. Dr. B, please.
We'll have to turn the lights down. Oh. Jay, can you kill these lights here?
Take a little time to turn back on.
Okay.
Everyone could see?
Yeah. Just these here, not those. Just 1 second, Dr. Burke.
If everyone could see, if everyone could see the faces. We are here as a board to celebrate the life of three beautiful souls. Ariel Rivas Rivada, Natalia Neruda, and Sebastian Neruda. Three beautiful lives gone but will never be forgotten. As Miss Armstead said, she spent the day before with Ariel. I was sitting at a basketball game with Ariel a couple days before, and I saw how happy and alive he was. Ariel was an amazing dancer, and he loved to play basketball. He had some wonderful friends, and his teachers spoke wonderfully about him. His parents loved him very much. And as every board member echoed, Ariel will never be forgotten. Then we look at Natalia and her brother, Sebastian. These two young people were also loved by their parents. Natalia attended McManus Middle Schools, and she was an honor student. She did extremely well. She was loved by her parents and by her friends. Her brother Sebastian was also in McManus. They were two honor students, very popular, very loved. But today, we are sitting here mourning their loss. 3 wonderful lives lost, parents suffering, and board members crying, teachers, friends, and students all crying. Today, we wish them all farewell, and we pray for their families. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, for being part of this terrible experience, because their children and no parent should have to bury their child. Could you put back on the lights, please? On another note, I would also like each and every one of you to say a prayer for one of our board members. Her father is in the hospital, and he's very ill. And even during these hard times where we are sending off beautifully 3 young lives, we also have lives out there that need prayers. So I ask each and every one of you to pray for our sports sister's father who is in hospital. The more prayer he gets, we don't want to lose anybody else right now. And the only thing can help us is prayers. So please, pray for my sister's father, please. He needs all the help he could get.
Madam President, the lights are on ballast. That may take a while to get back up.
Okay,
yeah.
so seeing that it wouldn't come up, we're going to talk now about new business. Anybody have anything to share?
I would like one more try.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't see my paperwork, so I'm going to have to go straight from the heart. And I'm not going to cry maybe this time.
Jen, turn on your flashlight on your phone.
It's okay, please don't look at me. I have no more makeup on. I would like to give my condolences to the family and friends and communities, and I would like to say how grateful I am to be a part of Linden. And thank you to the teachers who are there every day. and the staff. Oh, great. I don't cry, but I love you all so much that it breaks my heart to see my family, my community going through such tragedy. I just want to say thank you for being there, for standing up, taking the lead, not breaking down, because we need you to. And I know that there's a lot of times that my mother-in-law was a principal, and so I know that there's a lot of questions about pay or things needed, and you know, and it comes across the board, and we do our very best to allocate and do everything right, be physically responsible, financially responsible, but this is the part that you don't do because you get paid. This is a part that you show that you love the children. It shows. We see it. We know. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Thank you, Dr. Tomasic. Thank you for stepping up while we're all grieving and doing it anyway. Thank you. And I would like to say congratulations to Rob, and I'm sorry I can't see anymore, to Layla and Peg. That's pretty awesome. This is all great news. And in the face of tragedy, we also need to remember the good. And it will help us move forward, and we don't want to leave anybody behind. We don't want to forget about people who do great things and the great things that are going on. I would like to say congratulations, Josephina Gill, on her retirement. And I come from a huge church family. I know school and church is separated, and we do this thing. I personally come from a huge church family. My in-laws are pastors and preachers and district elders and bishops. My mother-in-law's a bishop. So I hear a lot of prayer. I see a lot of prayer. I get a lot of prayer, and I say a lot of prayer. I thought when I was going to come here today, I had thought about it so long about what I was going to say, and I don't know what to say. I have no clue what to say in a time like this, except that I feel everybody's pain. And I also know that we're going to get through this because I see everybody here, and I see everybody at the school. We hold each other up here. Not every place is like this. We should be grateful for what we have. Hold each other up. Give grace, strength, and remember that we're all human beings just trying to do the best that we can. And we need to love each other and be there for each other the best that we can. And remember and keep in your mind that we're all going to make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But forgive. Don't hold it. Don't hold it against somebody. Give them grace and mercy. And it will carry us all through. Thank you for allowing me to speak once more. Thank you.
Dr. B.
Thank you guys very, very much.
Dr. B.
Yes.
If you would allow me this one moment, I would like to dedicate a song to our three and Xavier that passed also. If you would let me play it, because I'm a firm believer, this is not a goodbye. This is when we see each other again.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling stronger. What's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken. The love will never get lost. And when brotherhood comes first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn, and that line is what we reach. So remember me when I'm gone.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride. Let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you
Thank you.
Ariel, Natalia, and Sebastian, we all will see you again. Thank you, guys. Now, we have to discuss new business. Do you guys have anything that you think should be added to the agenda regarding new business? Anyone have anything? I have something I'd like to discuss. The first thing I'd like to discuss is removing the 50 pictures that was put up all around the building, all around the city of the students that graduated. They are still there. And Dr. Tomasic, you said that you...
That's correct. We will recover those banners for the students with whom they're honoring. We'll get them off the poles. We'll have them at the field house and then contact last year's graduates and make sure that they can own their own banner as a remembrance of their graduation.
And the next thing I want to discuss when it comes to new business is our next graduation. I remember I was speaking to some of the students about what they would like to see happen for next graduation. And we came up with it while talking to Dr. Tomasic, couple people. We thought that maybe the best thing for us to do is to have an electric yearbook where every student picked year would be placed in that yearbook. We would also have like all the teams. It will be just like the yearbook but electronic. When we think about our demographics, where most of our students have relatives in different countries, it will be so easy for them to go on YouTube and be able to tap into their yearbook from all over the world. You know, I was speaking to one board member and she said, I don't like the idea of YouTube on an electronic yearbook. And I turned to her and I said, you know, in 1979, I was Miss Trinidad and Tobago. And people could still go online and they could pull it up and they could see that I am not lying. I was Miss Trinidad and Tobago. And I was a semi-finalist in the Miss World contest. There were 80 countries, and I came 7th. Anyway, but having an electronic yearbook, what it does is that 50 years from now, you could actually go online and be able to see your high school graduation. So I would like us to have an electronic yearbook. What do you guys think about that?
Would this also accompany paper yearbook?
Yes, you will still have the regular yearbook, but we want it to be online. And like, for example, on graduation, we could have a Q code, where when parents come into graduation, they could actually have their phone on the Q code, and they could actually see the yearbook.
The QR code.
The QR code. I'm older. Bear with me. Yes. But what do you guys think about us doing something like that moving forward?
I like the concept as long as it's accompanied by the paper version, because I think there's some nostalgia in having a yearbook that's actually tangible. But I do like the idea of it.
Dr. Tomasic, what we would have to do, would you share the process how we could get this done?
Yes, well, we have a lot of talent on the staff. We have a little bit of time before June comes around. We'll put our best efforts on it. I'm sure we'll probably be better in the future years than we might be this first year, but we'll make a run at it and then learn from it. But I believe that we can come up with the many photographs that are already part of the regular yearbook, but certainly minimally, we could have all of our graduates who release permission to use their photo. We could scroll through and not have some people honored and others not. We could have everybody who wants to be honored in that electronic memento.
Okay. So I guess
maybe if I would like to chime in. Maybe if we did like a video instead of just the pictures, because you can't get a video from a book. I'm thinking right now, the people who do the books, I'm just thinking about the income that they may lose. I'm not sure. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yearbooks are already ordered, so it's not like this year's yearbooks have been ordered.
So maybe like a video of the kids who sign the waiver and want to be maybe in a YouTube video might be an idea too. Or I was just thinking out loud.
Well,
Video,
Dr. Tomasic, it's going to be just like the yearbook where each student will have maybe 2 seconds where, and we move, just like the yearbook, we'll have an opportunity to have the basketball team, picture of the basketball team, the softball team, everything, amazing teachers or administrators, and a YouTube video, as you said, that will be memorialized forever on a video.
I think it would be a really great experience for the IT, for the kids who want to learn IT, maybe an educational thing, but we could talk, we have time.
Well, this is the first time we're discussing it, but I know that, Miss Lady over there, you have a lot of experience with putting stuff like this together.
Yes, with the technology team.
Yes, so I feel confident that we have the right team together to put this idea together.
I just think we could condense it into a minimal time, because I think if we have 500-600 students or more, it's going to be about a 2-hour, 3-hour video.
2-3 seconds
yearbook,
per 3 seconds per picture, and it moves alphabetically, but at least parents or friends and family all around the world would have easy access to their family, their children graduating. Okay, anyway, so that concludes, no other discussion on this. So this concludes our board meeting tonight, and we are ready to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
That's what you're looking for? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Carrillo?
Yes.
Mr. De La Cruz?
Yes.
Mrs. Fleming?
Yes.
Ms. Pino? Yes. Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Armstead?
Yes.
And Dr. Berghammer?
Yes. Meeting adjourned.